My name is Mark Talbot and I work for Springer Nature. I'm Head of Facilities Operations here and I've been here for 7.5 years, which when I was recounting back is the second longest I've stayed at any company. So I'm not going to probably beat the next one, which is 11 years, but who knows? I heard about Artisan a number of years ago, and it was when Artisan were actually first coming into the market. I won't go into all the details, but basically I was really impressed with who they were and their vision at the time, but it was just too early for me to take an opportunity or take a chance with them to actually appoint them as a service provider in the location that I was looking at. But the name and Alison in particular impressed me in terms of the focus and direction that Alison wanted to take the company, and I had the opportunity here to put a quality catering provider in place, albeit a smaller boutique type catering provider. I didn't want one of the bigger fish, so it was something that I saw as being a developmental thing, somebody that I could work with and would achieve our vision in terms of catering. We haven't had any history with catering providers here, it being a totally new campus that we've set up from the beginning. So it wasn't really sort of looking at problems to solve, albeit I would imagine that if there was a problem solving scenario, I wouldn't have any worries about appointing Artisan to work with them, what I know now obviously. But in terms of launching the operation, I'm more than happy, or was more than happy, that those guys would do what was necessary to launch it. They listen, and that's really a powerful thing, to be quite honest, in the catering trade. Somebody who would listen as to what you believe that you want and you know about your organisation. All too often catering providers will just poo-poo what the customer or the client says because he knows nothing and is not an expert. I don't profess to be an expert perhaps, but it's important to listen to the client, I think, and that's a really good thing. It's really difficult sometimes because everybody's on their best behaviour, beautifully polished and what have you, and the whole presentation team is extolling the virtues in each occasion or each opportunity. So sometimes it's just percentages, sometimes it's gut feel, and for me I place a great deal of emphasis in gut feel and can I work with these guys. And I guess for me that's what sort of lifted Artisan above the competition. They're very credible, plausible, and indeed I thought that I could develop a good working relationship with those guys. I guess really that the problem, and I don't mean problem as such, but the service is owned and taken away from me. I don't have to get involved in the daily, are the sprouts too hard, too soft, is the custard lumpy, all of those good things. It's just taken out of my hands, and I have every confidence in the team on site that they're going to deal with the issues at hand, and indeed that they're not going to poison anybody in terms of the current food safety standards, etc. They do those things as a matter of course. So delivery of all of those things is key and paramount. The one thing that I've been really pleased about is the engagement with the recycling and our CSR and the journey that we as a company are on. We are placing great emphasis on CSR and recycling and plastic reduction, which is near and dear to me in terms of reducing the plastic in the oceans. And Saint Attenborough, as he should be, he's created a whole wave of impetus, and that really has been reflected across our organisation. So Artisan have really grabbed hold of that and are working very closely with us and indeed leading us. So that is really good, and it's really pleasing that those guys are placing such great emphasis on that. If you want a company to work with that do what it says on the tin, will not fail you in terms of the underlying things. It's all very well delivering food, cooking food, and presenting food. You know, most companies will do that, and it will be fine. But the management ethos and the direction of the company is truly important in terms of owning all the peripheral activities, the food allergies, the training, and all of those good things. I've never had any recourse or need to dig into those things. They're done. So it's confidence, really, and that is a big word for a client having a service provider that you have confidence in.